very special episode of Overtime by KingsCast. I'm Keith Corneland.
And I'm Chris Kalazewski.
And we are here today as part of the Figure 8 competition that the Los Angeles Kings are doing and presenting to you our goaltender of the decade.
You know, Keith, the goaltending position for the Kings has always been a tumultuous one. We've never really had that franchise goaltender, one that carries the team. We never had a Patrick Waugh, Martin Brodeur, a getting Nabokov kind of guy.
I think the 2000s, Chris, more often than not, you were getting things like, what a soft goal, what a sieve, how, best yet, how can we sign this guy to a contract when he hasn't even played for the Kings yet? That kind of stuff. But the positives are few and far between, which is why we present to you our goaltender of the decade, which is, unsurprisingly, Felix Potvin.
Potvin came to the Kings in the 2000-2001 season, already a pretty seasoned goaltender. He had 61 wins.
And he had the most and only playoff wins at 10. Potvin also had a 2.35 goals against average. Best noted for that great series with the Detroit Red Wings, where we did advance to the second round of the playoffs, only time we did the entire decade.
He took Colorado all the way to the Game 7 in the second round before, eventually losing, but had 2 shutouts. Luckily got us that one memory they have. Kings fans are still watching that YouTube clip to this day with a tear down their face.
That's because that's all we got.
It is. Following year, took the Kings to the playoffs again. To me, easy goaltender of the decade. Most wins, most playoff wins.
14 shutouts and a .905 save percentage. So not bad numbers there, but it does say something that he only had 61 wins. His tenure with the Kings was, of course, very short.
Now, our second goalie star of the decade would have to go to Jonathan Quick, I think. He's up there in wins. He has 42 already in almost 2 full seasons playing. This guy could be our true homegrown talent. So far, he's looking like that.
Absolutely, which is shocking to me. We finally got one, and if we don't, we got a few other people in the system.
This current season, he's up there with the league leaders with 20 wins.
Absolutely, he's got a very good shot at making the U.S. Olympic team. Jonathan Quick is the fastest 20 wins in the history of the Los Angeles Kings, getting there in just 33 games this season. So he's definitely really trying to emerge. He's keeping us on our back.
I mean, we're looking at a guy who could possibly have 40 wins this year.
That's right, Kings fans. Quick for Vezina.
Yeah, just throwing it out there. You never know. If he's leading the league in wins, taking the Kings up like that, I think it's possible.
I think we're clearly Kings fans. Up next is our third star of goaltenders, which goes to Matthew Garon, which really shows that he had terrible goaltending in the 2000s. I mean, the guy was good in shootouts.
Had 9 shutouts in his tenure with the Kings.
Yeah, he was 44, 36, and 9 with his tenure with the Kings, which is like a winning record, so that's good. Unfortunately, those not nominated for an award were Jason LaBarbera, Barry Brust, Yutaka Fukufuchi, and Roman Czechmanek. Then again, movies also not nominated in the 2000s were Glitter, Geely, and From Justin to Kelly.
Other notables from the decade, and I think there were quite a few. You look at all the Adam Hausers, and the Sean Burks, and the JSO band.
Ah, well, JSO band, Chris, he's good for one thing. He shows you that a middle-aged guy who's slightly overweight can get scored on in the NHL. Chris, Jamie Storr is actually doing a goaltender clinic now.
Huh? That's like Aki Berg giving a defenseman clinic. We also had Dan Cloutier, signed to the extension in one of Dean Lombardi's probably lowest moments before he played a game. Frustrating Kings fans. This guy was ridiculed more than any Kings player, I think, in the entire decade.
Yeah, we said some pretty bad stuff about Dan Cloutier. It wouldn't be KingsCast if we didn't address the fact that Yutaka Fukufuchi, first full Japanese-born player to play in the NHL, called up an emergency situation, went 0-3-0 with a 4.37 goals against and an 8.37 save percentage.
Yeah, I mean, Keith, this wasn't just an emergency situation. This was like a code red, DEFCON 1 sort of situation. The international media, the Japanese media were all over that. And he was a hero, I believe, for a couple months there in Japan. There was a little history there for the Kings, so it was nice to be a part of that.
Bonsai! Chris, let's talk about the next decade looking forward, and I think this is going to be positive. We do this at the end of 2019. Hopefully we'll be coming to you in 3D or something like that. We'll have a lot of goaltenders to talk about. Jonathan Quick, Jonathan Bernier, Jeff Zatkoff, Martin Jones, etc., even Eric Erzberg.
Pretty good crop of goaltenders right now, and this is, I think, the first time possibly in team history, that we've had the caliber of talent in the goaltending position ever.
And it's very possible that Jonathan Quick will still be with the Kings in 10 years. I mean, that is a huge possibility. I think we have a lot to look forward to this decade. So there we go, Felix Potvin, our goaltender of the decade. What is yours? Leave your comments, as always, downstairs. I'm Keith Corlick.
And I'm Chris Kalzewski.
Happy holidays, Hockeywood LA, and thank you for watching Overtime by KingsCast.